You didn't set out to steal $65 billion. That's important to understand. The first time, you just needed to cover a bad month. One bad month. The market had stalled. Clients were asking for returns you hadn't made. So you used one client's money to pay another. You told yourself it was temporary, a bridge, a short-term fix until the market came back and you made it all up. It didn't come back, and you never made it up, and the bridge became the business. That was 1992. You had a reputation. That's the part nobody talks about when they talk about Ponzi schemes. You have to start with something real, something people trust. You had spent 20 years building a legitimate firm. You had helped build the electronic infrastructure that would become NASDAQ. You had been its chairman. When you walked into a room on Wall Street, people stood up differently. That reputation was the product, not the returns. The returns were just confirmation of what people already believed. That you were different, that you had access to something nobody else had. The split strike conversion strategy, a basket of blue chip stocks, options to protect the downside, moving to cash at exactly the right moments. Producing 10 to 12% a year, every year, in every market, in the crashes and the booms, and the sideways years in between, every single year. That should have been the question. It never was. The machine works like this. New money comes in, it goes into a Chase Manhattan account. Not into trades, not into stocks, into an account. The money sits there. When an existing client wants a redemption, you pay them from the account. When you need to show returns, you print a statement. The statement shows trades. The trades didn't happen. The statement is a document you created in a back office on the 17th floor, your paper portfolio, the one that exists only on paper. You hire a small accounting firm out of a strip mall in Rockland County. One partner, one secretary, one small office. They sign the audits. $64.8 billion in assets. One man in a strip mall. Nobody asks why. The feeder funds come next. Other firms who market access to you. Fairfield Greenwich, Tremont, Kingate. They charge their clients 1 to 2% annually just to hand the money to you. They earn hundreds of millions in fees. For performing due diligence, they do not perform. They know what they want to know, and they don't ask what would make them uncomfortable. That's how it works. Everybody upstream of the lie benefits from not seeing it, so nobody looks. You receive $7 billion through Fairfield alone. You don't trade a dollar of it. You produce their statements, 10.5% every year. They call clients who complain, you promised 18 and only delivered 16. That happens. That is a real complaint people make about money that doesn't exist. The SEC comes. 5 times between 2000 and 2008, a former portfolio manager named Harry Markopoulos submits reports. He has done the math. He tells them directly, the returns are mathematically impossible. The options positions Madoff would need to produce these returns don't exist anywhere in the market. You would need to control more than the entire global options market just to hedge the book you're claiming to run. He submits 17 pages of evidence. The SEC investigates. The SEC looks at you. You are a former NASDAQ chairman. You have a mahogany office. You wear good suits. They close the investigation. They do this 5 times. You are never charged. But the calls come anyway. Redemption calls. Not the small ones. Those you handle. Someone needs $500,000, you wire it. Someone needs $2 million, you wire it. The account can absorb that. The account has real money in it. Real money from real new investors who keep coming because the returns keep showing 10%. New money covers old withdrawals. That is the entire mechanism. It has to grow or it dies. It has been growing for 16 years. The part that changes you is not the lying. You get used to the lying. The part that changes you is the list of names in the client book, because they are not abstractions. They are your friends. The Elie Wiesel Foundation for Humanity. The Elie Wiesel Foundation. $15.2 million. Their entire endowment. Sandy Koufax. Steven Spielberg. A Hall of Fame pitcher and a director who trusted you with the money they spent a lifetime earning. And the ones you don't recognize. The retired couples. The teachers. The people whose account sizes end in odd numbers because they scraped together everything they had. They gave it to you. You put it in the Chase account. You printed them a statement. You learn to read a client list the way a surgeon learns to see a body as a system. You stop seeing the people. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, over years, one rationalization at a time. You're protecting them from a worse market. They would have lost more elsewhere. You'll fix it. You always tell yourself you'll fix it. September 2008, Lehman Brothers collapses. The market falls 37% in weeks. Hedge funds that invested with you through feeder funds now have clients demanding their money back, so those hedge funds call you. December comes, $7 billion in redemption requests. You have $200 to $300 million in the account. Not $7 billion, not $17 billion, not $64.8 billion, $300 million. for 37,000 clients in 136 countries, who together believe they own $64.8 billion. There is no money. On December 10th, 2008, you sit your sons down, Mark and Andrew. They work at the firm. They have always worked at the firm. They sit there. You tell them it is a Ponzi scheme. You tell them you have been running it for at least 16 years. You tell them there is no money. The next morning, they call a lawyer. The lawyer calls the FBI. That evening, 2 agents knock on your door at your Manhattan penthouse. They ask if there is an innocent explanation. You say there is none. They arrest you. You are 70 years old. Your son Mark will be dead in 2 years. December 11th, 2010. Exactly 2 years after the arrest. His own hand. He was 46. Andrew will die of cancer 4 years later. He will spend those 4 years being sued by people who believe he had to have known. Your wife Ruth will spend the rest of her life eating alone in a Florida apartment while strangers send her letters. 2 victims will take their own lives. Others will simply lose everything quietly, without a headline, because $47,000 doesn't make the news. You will die in a federal medical center in North Carolina. April 14th, 2021. Natural causes. 82 years old. 150-year sentence. Served 12. I thought this would only be a short-term trade, which could be made up once the market became receptive. The rest is my tragic history of never being able to recover. Short-term. That was 1992. You spent 16 years thinking it was temporary. They always do. That's not an excuse. It's just the architecture of the thing. Nobody builds a $65 billion fraud on day one. They cover a bad month. They tell themselves it's a bridge. The bridge holds, so they walk further out. And then one day, they look down, and there's nothing underneath them, and there never was. And they are not sure exactly when the bridge ended and the air began.